Mhm. Do you stream on StreamYard or?
Oh no, I'm doing the OBS, so it should be. I think your audio should be able to come through just fine. So
Is my mic fine? I
yeah, it looks like
I
it's
can
going.
just with phone.
It looks like it should
It's
be
coming through.
going through. So let me
Okay, cool.
just. All right, now I just gotta. Okay, there's the share. I'll just make sure. I'll post it in the group chat where I know everyone else is and see if they can make sure that the everything else is going through just fine. Um, I ran a few
Yep.
tests just to make sure um, that
Okay.
everything was okay on my end. But
How many how many boys are there?
um,
Like four or something like that?
I think we got like, well, should have like 18 or whatever in the the one server.
Oh wow, okay.
Oh, and then I can also post it here, I guess.
But 18 dudes talking.
No, no, oh no, it's just gonna be you and me for now. But
Oh, okay, yeah. All right.
that'd be a bit much,
I thought, yeah, maybe Thomas White on steroids, right?
right?
18 guys. Oh wow, so I'm your first guest on the stream thing.
Yeah, and this is my very first stream.
All right, okay. I try not to be nervous.
No, I mean, there's nothing to,
No, but I think I will get used to it pretty quickly
yeah, I
because
mean,
yesterday or the day before we talked, it's after 5 minutes it goes better
hmm
talking and stuff.
you know, speaking of, like, you said you were like an expert in uh, small like black pill channels. Do you just like sort of
Yeah.
like to observe them or whatever, or like what's the?
Yeah, actually I just listened to a lot of stuff, but
Okay,
I never engaged that much. I I did phone call broomstick, um, but other and also I don't know MGTOW dictionary,
okay,
but that was like 4 or 5 years ago when it was still fresh. But I didn't engage too much with the content creators.
yeah, no problem. Who's who's MGTOW chats? Like, I don't know who that is. Like, I
I
know he's
heard
from New
about.
York.
I,
And I know like he's
okay.
done streams with like Raymond and those guys or whatever, but it's like how like I
Oh
wonder how he
wow.
got like on the
Okay.
radar or whatever.
Black pill royalty.
I guess.
MGTOW chat. Do you have topics in mind and questions ready, or because
um,
I don't have much content. It's
I mean we could just like,
just
shoot the shit, which I'm, totally okay with. Um, I guess I don't know, like I was watching Raymond earlier and he was talking about like this book that he was like, reading and it's his latest video Timu Rich Cooper. And one of the things that kind of, bothers me about some of the people like in the BP space is he. I'm not saying like he necessarily believes this. I think he's just sort of like, conditioned, to, have this idea that, okay, um, he, I, and he probably just sort of offhandedly said this, but like he said something along the lines of depression isn't real, right? And he also
mm,
said, "Oh, like trauma isn't real." And when he said that, he was mostly talking about like people in the first world not having like real problems because we have modern medicine. We don't have to fight for food. We have an excess in
mm,
calories. We're all fat. We you're not we're not in a position where we're actually like starving the real world anymore or whatever. But he also nonchalantly said that, like, you're not going to really find yourself starving on the streets when, I don't know, I sort of, I'm not a huge fan of like this dismissive attitude in regards to like actual suffering that takes place,
All right.
even if it
All
does
right.
happen in
Yeah.
the first world.
Yes. And I do think Raymond himself is a perfect example that the humans need more than just shelter and food. It's I'm a strong I do have strong beliefs that trauma and depression is a matter of the outside factors like relationships, work, stability. Um, not every time because I clinical depression is a thing and medicaments or meds are a thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I'm not too much an expert on Raymond, to be honest. I do find him pretty annoying. And there's an excellent meme I saw. Raymond was like flexing his new muscles. He has his mid-range car outside and the house and stuff. And the text is like, okay, and bare virgin girl. And yeah, I think it's pretty funny because it's like a soy boy meme and it just looks exactly like him.
I honestly just feel bad for the guy, in a sense. So, like, I feel like I do believe, there's certain circumstances that he's in that are like out of his control, and he does realize that. But there are also certain things that he does do that make it much worse for him, that he can't control, but he just doesn't want to. Um, it's like, yeah, okay, like obviously people are not going to find him attractive, because he's bald or whatever.
Mm.
Which I guess, like, I've never really found like being bald like such a big deal as like some of these other guys. Like, who's that annoying, little weasel? Rehab Room. I can't stand that guy.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
but but what was I?
Okay,
Where was I going with that? Oh, but he
that
does
that
have
could
a.
be. I would strongly disagree
What's
because
that?
I'm pretty hair max and I do think you can get up 1 or 2 points on the look scale with very good haircut too.
No, I.
And you can style it in a way that you could distinguish. I myself, I do have medium long hair, and I do come across smarter than I actually am because it's like the upper class hairstyle, And here in Europe, everyone has this sights on zero, and yeah, it's. I think you can work a lot with hair. You can get more masculine with the sides on zero, a little bit on top and stuff. I do think it's underrated, but I also have a chat friend who's like balding hard, but yeah, he does have the perfect bones. It doesn't matter.
Well, like,
Pretty,
it's
really
like
good looking guy.
I got very thick, wavy hair too.
Yeah.
But Raymond, he does this thing where it's like, I watch a couple of his videos, and it's like he'll be making very sexually aggressive content towards like 20 something college age girls about like their breast. I'm like, I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, I
damn.
mean, Raymond, with your looks, and your age, that age gap, it's like, of course, like he's not putting himself like in the mind of like a vulnerable, college age girl, and how she's going to think about that. Like that's going to be very off-putting. And then, if an older woman that's his age sees that video, she's also going to be very put off by it, and she's not going to, be like, that's dating material. Like it's a woman's affection and feelings goes a long way, but I don't know. I feel
Yeah,
like a lot of these guys in like
Raymond
the.
is he's such a meme for missed how men center own way.
I feel like a lot of
And
these
Raymond,
guys. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, on one hand, he does have some good insights on the society and stuff and making money, but he doesn't seem to get that's just a fantasy. The college girl, it's like American Beauty, right? The middle-aged man who gets the college girl,
Oh,
he's stuck
exactly.
there.
I mean, that barely happens in real life, and it's I mean, I remember that movie, and even then, back when I watched that movie, I'm like, I don't see any girl falling for Kevin Spacey. It's
No,
and now we know what type of person Kevin Spacey is. So
yeah. There we have some topics, physiognomy, because I do think there could be some truth in it. Um, Hyperborean Wisdom did make a fantastic video about witches, and he talks about Teal Swan. I don't know if you know her, and she
um,
does have like she's well, she's like a big figure in the new age content world with millions of followers,
okay, I'm
and she
not
does have
familiar with
a
like new
certain
age
time.
stuff, but go ahead.
Okay, okay, but Hyperborean Wisdom, you do know.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty because you're a spiritual guy too.
Hmm.
Um, you have to watch it. This video is actually on YouTube. So I'll send you right now. No, there we have it. So classic black pill topics like hair, physiognomy, raiment.
Well, I don't want to say like I avoid the whole looks topics or whatever, but yeah, I guess for me it's I've sort of accepted the fact that like I was never like conventionally attractive. Like actually, I want to say like last week I was DMing a buddy of mine. I was showing him pictures of myself back in high school, and when he saw those photos, he said he saw a kid that looked marginally okay. Um, but I remember back in high school, like I had massive like self doubt, and I hated my appearance back in high school. Um, because I was a little I was skinny fat. I hated my hair. Um, I am like Hispanic mix, so like I would have facial hair that I'd have to constantly shave or whatever, to look my age. Um, I'm just trying to think of some other things I really hated about my appearance. Um, yeah. Oh, of course,
Yeah, same.
the
And
acne as well.
I
So,
was looking. I do have the same experience. I was looking pretty fine, um, especially after seventh grade. Did look a little bit like Justin Bieber, but I was full of self-doubt and I was very timid. Can relate. And what did you say? Now you do think you're average looking, or
well,
because
no. Well, hold on. Like, would you? Depends on what we mean by average. Do we mean average for American? Because like it's not that good. If you say something like that. Um, because American average is nothing to write home about. It's actually pretty ugly.
it's you mean overweight and
Overweight, doesn't look like
oh,
they take care of themselves. They look like slobs. So
okay.
I mean, well, you, if you're in Germany, right? How would you describe like the average person over there?
Um, hmm. It's a tough one because in Germany, I'm seldom in the cities, and there are the Aryan chaps, 6'4", stuff like that, and pretty markant. I don't know if you know the word. It's like um, the face is full of edges, and they do have uh,
Like a sharp jawline.
yeah sharp facial features. In Switzerland, Swiss people. they're not as beautiful. We do have a lot of mix, more mix with a little bit Italian, a little bit France, and Swiss people on average are shorter in height, and we do have more friendly faces, a little bit more puffy most of the time. Um, it was funny. I did get to know a guy, and I guessed where he's from which valley, or from which small region, and he was like, "Oh yeah, how did you figure?" I was like, because of the accent and stuff. But he had this face. It's like a round face. But there are attractive people. Switzerland is very international. We do have a lot of Eastern Europeans. We do have a lot of the Africans and but Turkish people most of the time they do look pretty good. They do have the sharp features, but they're also pretty dumb. And it's like yeah, they all have the same style, stuff like that. And Swiss girls, even the liberal ones, they won't date them. Not the Turkish or Albanian guys, even when they don't look too bad.
I guess I should ask, like what cultural differences would there be in terms of like defining a black pill in Switzerland or Germany or I guess would it be Western Europe or
Sorry, you do have to repeat.
yeah, like what cultural differences would define the black pill over in Europe, where you're at.
Mm, I do hear Western and Collective Dismal here complaining a lot of Indians. And it's funny because Indians, I do like them the best. They're funny, they're lighthearted, they're small,
Hmm.
can take them seriously. And here in Europe, Germany, France, wherever the Eastern Europeans, they are low IQ and they're low in hip and they're aggressive and they're fucked to be around. And I do think uh, on on the countryside in Switzerland, the it we do have a very healthy like relationship culture on the countryside. In the city, it's all modern, it's polyamorous, it's whatever woke. But on the countryside, I do feel like it's like in the 1950s. And when I do hear Dashboard, it's not like that in the Americans.
No, no, no. Um, and it is weird, it's I feel like a lot of more right-wing Americans, kind of idolize, like a past America or like a certain um, romanticized version of Europe. Um, but I'd also say, like, is that really what you want? Um, I don't know. Maybe I might be going too far, with what I might be trying to get at. But um, because I don't know. It
The 1950s model, is that really what we want, or
well,
what do you mean?
I feel like that was more of like a fiction. I don't believe that like that was actually like real. Because a lot of these guys when they talk about like a certain idealized version of like the 50s in the United States, they're mostly just talking about like
Yeah.
they don't want immigration, and they don't want racial diversity, right? As if that was
Yeah.
some sort of correlation that caused like all these massive issues. And for me, it's like I I'm not seeing the correlation, right?
Mm.
Um, because I was actually um, just reading about this earlier. It's how because all of us are so black pilled, and I've talked to multiple people, so I guess you'd be maybe the third or fourth German I've talked to about this, but it's like I've talked to people in the UK, I've talked to people, within South America that are black pilled. It just seems like it's a global thing, and I don't think it's tied to like any one
mm,
race or any one nationality or whatever. And then, it's like you look at the data regarding birth rates. It's
mm,
mostly like first world countries that are like experiencing like a deep like drop in like the birth
mm,
rate and marriages, where it's like people just don't want to have kids or have sex, right?
yeah, yeah. Um, Sorry, first of all, question, do you want to stream soon?
No, we're
Because
streaming right
we
now.
we're streaming right now.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, it's about 1950s. You said it's just fiction, but I do think fiction does make reality in a sense that it is a desire for men and some women, not all, but especially on the countryside, I do think it's quite the ideal. When when I talk with my city friends about my countryside girlfriends, they're like, "What? She's so traditional. She likes to cook. She likes to clean. Yada yada yada." Um, and it's not a fairy tale. It does exist, but um, yeah, one friend he told me about that. He suffers pretty much from his city girlfriend who got brainwashed a lot, and yeah, it's she always is nagging about the role of the female
Hmm.
because they have to be the lover, they have to be the mother, they have to be the businesswoman, and it's exhausting. I did ask the very same question to my current girlfriend, and she was like, "No, I don't give a fuck." But she's 33, and yeah, it's maybe a generational thing.
I
Mm,
think I think it'd be a
but
good question to
yeah,
ask, like, how many of these girls like actually, want to be like girl bosses? How many of these girls, actually want to, be their own, you know, boss without a man, like independent or whatever, right? Um, and I unfortunately, from my own experience, it seems like a lot of them bought into the conditioning and don't. I guess if they do have a boyfriend, they see the relationship as sort of like a mutual co-partnership. But it's like I've talked to some of these girls before, and they say that they don't necessarily need a boyfriend. You know.
mm, yeah. There's these are like two topics. I do think maybe you can say 50% they can grow in a business environment where they can be the girl boss, where they have their oofy doofy boyfriends that they can uh, exploit. And on the other hand, there are these girls who are longing for a guy who takes charge. But I can imagine um, the younger generations, they do get pushed very much in this narrative of the girl boss. But at the same time, when you see all these migrant families, they do have the exact 1950s values, right? Where they do have to be the mother. And I do work with teenagers, and a lot of them they sympathize with Muslim ethics, like be honor culture and family and honor. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a lot going on. 2025, I think.
I'm looking at the chat. Psycho says, I think most women don't want to actually be girl bosses, but are just conditioned to think they do. Yeah.
Mm,
I and I guess an important distinction would be, how many of them are just conditioned to think that that's what they want, and how many, are true believers, and did buy into the propaganda and are now, forced to live that lifestyle and actually somewhat enjoy it, you know.
mm. Yeah, absolutely. Um, maybe I'm biased because I did study. Um, I did study social work, and there are a lot of girls who long for command and for taking the lead. And yeah, I do think it gets exploited through the media because it's always celebrated, and these girls get a lot of venue, and so I do think it's misrepresented.
So here's a challenge I'm going to ask you, right? Now that they have this taste of, you know, sort of like the male power dynamics, how, I guess, you can't really take it away, can you? Right?
The manpower dynamics.
Yeah, in terms of like, being a boss or a CEO, right? I think was it Fortune magazine that like, gives like, here's the top, women CEOs or whatever. I forget which magazine it is, or it might be Cosmopolitan or whatever. But they brag about, not having, like, we need more women CEOs or whatever, right? But like,
Hmm.
the genie's basically out of the bottle, right? And I don't think you can, really tell women, okay, you've had your fun, now you have to, forget about all those opportunities you once had and just go back to doing something else. I think you would have to make, traditional values, and I'll get on that in a different, way, but it's like you would have to make, a counter um, I guess a counter reformation, or a counter lifestyle to modernity more appealing.
Mm.
Yeah, and what I really don't
Sorry,
like
man.
about, yeah, go ahead.
No, I didn't get the whole question in your statement, but I agree.
Um, what I don't like about like TikTok and a lot of these platforms that like have uh, like what I'm talking about when I say like these trad wives, where it's like you got like
Yeah,
these, blonde women wearing like, the aprons and they got all their hair done and stuff like that, and it's like, it's very performative. It's not real.
sure.
It's it's
Yes.
it's more of a product, and I just don't like it because it, well, one, it'll turn a lot of women off, and then two, it's not functional in the sense that, okay, a man looks at it, but what a man sees when he sees that is he just sees porn. He sees like,
Hmm.
this is what I want women to be like, and if I can't have that, I'll just grab onto this fiction that's on TikTok and I'll, metaphorically jack off to it.
Yeah, yeah. But how's this guy Scooby Doo? He does these long streams about females. He did mention Big Bang Theory actually has more female viewers, and that really did surprise me.
Oh,
And
really?
I could imagine this threadwife content um, does also make something with the female hive mind that that it could also influence females. But of course, the product is for males. It's selling the fantasy, but I do get it, or I do think it also gets a lot of sympathy from some woman right there.
Isn't the show like a have like some romance or drama like plots to it, or
Big Bang Theory, yes, a lot. But
yeah,
it's
because
also
that
about
explains it.
four nerds, and there's the blonde female with the big tits, and it's very male centric, but the females did watch it more. It's quite amazing. But I didn't fact check. Yeah, I did believe the streamer who was saying this.
Hmm.
Also, Two and a Half Men. My ex-girlfriend, she loved it, and it's like for me, it's brain rot. But if she thinks it's funny.
I'm I'm sometimes I'm like surprised by what girls watch, and then like, other times I guess I'm not that surprised. I had this one coworker I was talking to, and she was like going on and on and on about like Stranger Things, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, like this is totally like a very feminine show, and it's like I have no reason to watch it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like she loved the scene where it's like, I guess I think Will is his name, like came out as like gay or whatever. Um, I
yeah.
guess like that was a huge plot point.
You know, I don't want to talk a lot about my current girlfriend, but she does like these shows where she can just yeah, stop thinking, and she also sleeps a lot, and then she wakes up and it's like whatever. There's no need to go to the place where she can pick up because it's like the show is so simple, so shallow that she can just watch it. And a great comment I saw is like females love to double the experience from TikTok and mindless shows. But to be fair, she also likes heavier stuff. Like she also likes Tarantino and can watch a thriller with me, no problem. But if she does have the choice, it's like mindless shit. She does she does know it's shit, but it's her preference.
It's a it is a bad habit. It's a bad habit. It's a bad habit like I have too because I like yesterday I felt I don't know what to call it where it's like you're in like a half stage where like you know you're awake but like you're falling asleep. Um but it's like I catch myself like my eyes are like closed, right? Or like they're about to close. They're very heavy. I'm lying in bed, but I still have my phone in my hand and I'm still swiping. And then I'll click on a video. I know like I'm like asleep, and then the video is still playing, or like I'm still choosing what to watch or whatever, right? It's like I know that's unhealthy, but for some reason like I'm still doing it. That's got to be like terrible from like my health and my brain or whatever.
You know, a good habit would be my brother. He's the better human than I am. Every Sunday he does uh, take a day off of all media, from the phone, from everything, just books and walking and cooking.
That's actually real smart.
Yeah, I should implement that too, but I'm weak.
No, it's like I got a bunch of books on like my to read list. How much I'm just looking at this copy of this one book I have right now. How many pages is it? I'm just looking at it right now. Forget the okay, there's the index, glossary, end notes, and then okay.
Five books forbidden
Okay,
for.
yeah, so this one I still have yet to finish. This is the Jewish Revolutionary Spirit, and this is the first edition. There's like a second edition which is like 3 volumes. This first edition's like 1045 pages. So, and I only finished like 2 chapters of it, so I'm not even like halfway done, you know. But it's like, this is like a coffee table book, you know.
Yeah, a lot of pages.
But no, it's I like to read, it's a favorite activity of mine, But at the same, this stuff, it's just very addicting, and um, it's just there's I know I made a video about it before, but it's like there's that comfort, of watching a video, and then the parasocial relationships that come, when you watch someone, and it's like okay, this is familiar because it reminds me of like past friendships I've had, or this person reminds me of my best friend or whatever, and it's like, but I'm so alone, that I don't have access to like those past relationships. So this will do.
Mm. Yeah, you can take shelter in the pages. And I never was a big reader. I just like Audible. I Funnily enough, I do have very big ears, and maybe that's yeah, it's how I can consume. Because reading, I do have to write and read a lot in work, and so I have to switch off to to the ears, just listening.
Okay. Someone says, "The fuck! I thought this channel got nuked." No, it didn't get nuked. Actually, I got a community guideline strike. And so I got in touch with someone, and they were like, "Hey, it's best to make up like a backup channel." So I did that. Um, but then I took a break for a while. But I figured, well, I guess I was
But I
gone
don't,
for like
but
6.
you're not that controversial, I think.
You
You
YouTube deleted like,
sometimes
yeah.
you do discuss BP topics somehow, but not really, right?
No, I mean no, but it's like YouTube deleted it like a bunch. Well, the tags. So like if you use tags that YouTube considers controversial, they'll just wipe your videos. So I used certain tags like BP or Inkwell, right? I'm not saying the actual words I used, but that was enough to trigger
Okay.
YouTube's algorithm and to just nuke some of the videos that I had. So they're re-uploaded now. I got one that I still got to re-upload, which was an essay that I wrote. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, you got to be very careful. And then Psycho says, I haven't read a book since my secondary school days. I still need to go back to the Young Samurai series by Chris Bradford. Yeah, I mean, um, there's a lot of series that I still have to read. I have the entire collection of oh, what was it? It's the Wizard of Oz series of books, and then I have the entire collection of um, the Lord of the Rings that I still haven't read yet.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings is fantastic. It's like even Farmer Maggot in the Fellowship. It's like a major event. It's crazy.
By the way, I did turn up Mango's audio, so if it's better, just let me know.
Right now I'm outside. Maybe it's that.
Oh, okay.
Hmm. Rehab Room. Yeah, I don't like him either. He
Was
was he's one of the old ones with face and LMS, but I do think he just want to make some buck with his repetition of content.
it's just a grift at this point, Like I'm sure at some point, I forget the name of his old channel, but like at some point, I do believe he was sincere. But like, if you gotta pay $5 just to don't like join a Discord, it's like, yeah, no, it's like I ain't doing that.
Yeah. Do you think Wheat Waffles is a 6 or a 7?
He's
Sorry,
fine,
BP content
I'd
topic.
say he's like a 6.5.
Ah,
Mewing.
6.5. Oh no, that's a lot.
Uh,
I don't think he's appealing to women. I think he's like 4.5 or a 5.
if you're
Uh,
talk, Charlie, if you're talking about like
he's
the
like
mewing,
5'10". It doesn't hurt him the height, but he doesn't have an advantage.
uh-huh.
Ah,
Uh,
mm.
Charlie, if you're talking about
He
like,
should grow
yeah,
his hair. He should
maybe.
grow his hair. It would help him.
Um, Charlie, if you're
Sorry.
talking about like the mewing where like you put like your tongue on like the top of like your the roof of your mouth, I tried that for like a little bit. It didn't really like I didn't feel anything. I know some people do like what do you call it? They get like the plastic or whatever and they start chewing on that and it's like I ain't doing that. It's like I got enough microplastics in my body, you know.
Yeah, mewing is such a cope. But what actually does help, and now we're in the red pill, is like getting to 15% body fat. I do think that's needed, but don't get to 10 because then you're too fragile looking.
Oh, you know what? Mango, I never sent you the live stream. Let me you're probably confused.
Yeah, I'm confused. Also, so I was just talking to you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Psycho says I would love to be 5'10". Being short is a curse. I'm 5'8", you know, and I'm fat.
Oh wow. Okay, that's a
So,
combo. So it's like talking with MangoDave, but there's no. It did
oh,
get the audio, right?
can you see the chat?
That's right. Maybe I do have an echo then.
Well, you probably have
I
an
have
echo
to
because like
have
you're
to.
watching the stream.
Yeah, yeah. I did get
Let
out.
me. Oh, you know what? I can probably do this, and then you could probably see the
Oh no,
live
it's
chat.
fine. I don't have to read the comments if you get it. It's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I do think up if you're under 5'8", you should get government assistance. It's it's a really discriminator, and it isn't in the discourse of social discrimination. Sadly, maybe I do take how do you say? I do make an excerpt of that and have to discuss it with some people. But 5'8" isn't too bad.
It's pretty bad over here, where it's like everyone else is like 5'10" or even 6 foot. So
Mm.
at, at least from my impression, everyone else in where I am, is pretty tall.
Yeah, Germany and especially the Netherlands are hell. But Switzerland, yeah, Switzerland's like 5'10", is average. I'm 5'11", but even 5'11" is it's not enough for for many people or to get or reap some social benefit. At 6'2", it's I think it's the halo.
I do have this one idea I'm trying to work through where it's not. Yeah, I mean, what I think is I think we're at a point where man, man itself is a social construct. And let me see if I can work through this. I'm a janitor. I'm 5'8". Um, I what else? Yeah, I work minimum wage, right? So it's like my salary doesn't, so I still live with my parents, right? Um,
Mm,
so I would say, I guess what I mean by man as a social construct is in the sense that I don't, you know, um, like okay, my biological sex says that I'm male, okay. Me being above the age of 18 also says that I am an adult man, but sociologically, I even run into people nowadays that would still refer to me as a kid, right? That I haven't met the conditions to be considered a real man, right? Um,
mm,
very humiliating or whatever to be a cashier and be submissive to another man, right? It's I don't know how to put it. It's I feel like in the United States at least. I don't know if this is like how it is in Germany, but in the United States, you know, and I gotta still go through like Benjamin Franklin's definition, of like what classified a man, but you have to have property, you have to
mm,
be married, you have to
mm,
have a stable career, right? But I don't have
mm,
these things. So I don't think I fit the correct definition of being a man.
mm. Well, about the cashier thing, I do think you can be the outgoing, friendly guy, and if at 5'8", if you do have if you are wide enough to be a little bit intimidating, but then again, in combo with outgoing personality, I think it could be a fun job. And you can see eye to eye to every man. And yeah, but I do think from more evil-minded people, they will treat you as a serf, just as a cashier, you know.
Well, yeah, because
And
especially go,
I was a cashier, and I I did get from the low tier man, I did get bad treatment. But if you do have a Giga Chat over there towering over you, and he will be friendly, he won't give a fuck.
mhm.
It's from the low tier man who will exploit the social dynamic here at play.
Well, I mean, you could. I've had just glances from other men where you could just tell that they don't want me in their presence, and it's like they're trying to, tell me through their body language, get a real job, right? And these are just
Okay.
through like very small social interactions, you know. Um, and
Mm,
sometimes they'll actually just straight up tell you like, why are you working this job? Shouldn't you be out doing something else? Um,
mhm.
so again, I don't know what it's like in Europe. I know like
Yeah,
education's
it's
more
brutal.
affordable over there. Um, but even then, like we have a very I I don't want to say impossible expectations, but it's like even if the expectations are like very high to meet, it's like you still have to meet them, or else you're
Yeah.
just a failure. And
Yeah.
you could you
Yeah,
could
my granddad did say, as a man, plant a tree, write a book, make a family. So it's very embedded. Um, you sorry, it's a stream. I don't want to get too personal, but you told me before you're a wall cell,
yeah.
and I did tell you, all all opportunities do come from being in a relationship and being taken more seriously from your employer and your peers around.
Hmm.
Uh, you're you did say it's also about economic reasons,
Yeah.
but don't- you don't have any plans because you said it before. It is a part of being considered to be a member of society. Just for the opportunism alone, you wouldn't pursue a relationship right now
Well,
as a
like
Christian.
yeah, I wouldn't pursue a relationship because I can't afford to, you know. And in the dating market, a woman wouldn't want someone like me because I don't have a good job and I still live with my parents. Because if we view relationships through the lens of capital, and everything is transactional, right? What do I offer?
Well, you seem well spoken. You do have a good voice, and through the voice, I can imagine you do look normal, or maybe even look good. Who knows? But it's I
But is
I
that
want to
is that
say
enough?
not
That's what
not
I'm
not like
asking.
the secret. Yeah, it's not like the secret, but if you can't take idealism or your idealism in something like a relationship or pursuing a relationship. It has to be very um, low in hip. Yeah, it's to get in a relationship is not intellectual. It is emotional. And when you when you're not ready, then yeah, you will reflect that outwardly, you know.
You would you would hope that most people view relationships as being an emotional connection between two people, and that they can use their experiences and their bond to form one unit. But that's not how we're trained as social animals. It's what can I how can I advantage myself through this person, you know? And I'm beginning to think like I might have been used that way multiple times in several of my relationships. It's why they call it networking. When you're signing up for a LinkedIn account and trying to get your way through relationships, or get your way through the career ladder, because they're going to be asking, well, how many people do you have as references, right? You could be the most skilled, I don't know, like engineer there is, but if you're living in the middle of bumfuck Arkansas and you don't know anyone, no one's going to care. It's not a matter of what you know; it's a matter of who you know,
Hmm.
and you'll have plenty of people willing to exploit you because they don't see you as a person. You are just a resource to be extracted from. And
Yes,
that's why
and
that's why here, like at least in marriages, 50% of all marriages end in divorce.
mm. Yeah, my sister, she did marry a man who she can boss around, and she wasn't attracted to him. And now 7 years later, it bites them in the arse because his libido is very high and hers is non-existent, at least for him. There's problem all around. But I do think to reflect value, um, it has to be about charisma and also looks. And I you said it is an experiment. Maybe you have to niche max, like I don't know, being being the bookworm, but then also lean very very heavy into that aesthetic and walking around with tweed and doing the hair and beard accordingly and stuff like that. Yeah, it's I think it's shallow, and you do seem like a very honest, very intellectual and idealistic person. But yeah, I do think if if you want to reflect value, then it is about the eyes. I do believe.
I'm gonna read some chats. Some dude 2951 says hello, hello, and then Psycho, he says, Midwest. If we were taller, would life be all that different? I'd like to think a little bit. Um, I would need to lose some weight, obviously, and then, but I do think I wouldn't have so many people looking down on me. Um, and then you also say the thing with men judging you for your job occupation is that they should understand better than anyone that some good-looking jobs aren't open to all types of men. Yeah. Um, I
Yeah.
mean, when I go shopping at Meijer, I see like a category of men that I can sort of tell have had that job for like a long time, and you can sort of tell like they just sort of fit the role of like a store supervisor. And I mean, again, like I don't want to believe that physiognomy is real, but in a sense, I would say like their body and their face reflects their job, if that makes sense.
Mm.
And then let's see.
Yeah, I would agree because maybe in high school they say, "Oh, you look like a chemistry professor or something like that," and they get the idea. Maybe pursue chemistry or elsewhere. The football guy, very sporty, just go there. You know. Western, still around?
Yeah. Check DMs. Someone sent you a question.
Someone sent me a question.
Yeah, I sent it to you on Discord.
Uh, okay. Mango, what aspects do you think make up charisma? I believe charisma is just how well you are socialized and how well your looks are accepted by the general society. Yeah, that's a big chunk, but I also think intelligence, when you do have communication skills, when you do have the vocabulary and also reading social situations, when to be loud, when to be silent, how to play the room, stuff like that. I I'm also a loser, by the way. I can't do these things, but yeah, I do believe it's the halo effect a lot and reinforced through looks, of course. And you will um get put a lot in your place when you step out of the line too much. Because when I did look the best, I could speak up the best, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, it was a little bit a topic I want to bring to you, Midwest. Like, maybe it's all about looks. Maybe Basin LMS was 2017. He was right, and we should close the chapter, go home, try to ascend. But yeah, it's maybe I'm a little bit devil's advocate for some points, but
I kind of miss like old school BP back when you would use terms like TFL, and um, back when Inkwell wasn't like used as like a slur. I'm trying to remember, like I know it immediately became like a massive red flag right after the Joker movie came out, and there was like that whole like panic about like there's going to be a shooting, at your local movie theater if you go see this movie.
yeah, video games make every teenage boy violent.
Right, exactly.
School shooter.
Or if you're a gamer, you're also an inkwell or whatever. Which by the way, my sister and I we came to an agreement. So she bought me like these pair of like shoes that were like the wrong size. They were size 12 and they were narrow fit. I'm like a wide fit, 11 and a half. So she returned them and she ended up exchanging it for like a Steam gift card. So I'm like, yes, that's pretty based. Um,
Perfect exchange.
so so during the holiday sale, I ended up getting what I get. Um, I got Shenmue 1 and 2, Tales of Symphonia, Cavern of Dreams, and then Dead Island Definitive Edition. So I'm gonna be having a pretty good winter, in my opinion.
Cool. I'm dabbling in Arkham Horror LCG. It's fantastic, but it's very expensive. Like it's a living card game, and for the game to be good, you have to get a lot of expansions, and they're expensive.
Oh, don't you also play
Like
tabletop?
and I'm playing through solo, but I love it. It's great.
Yeah, we gotta get like enough guys to like play like a big tabletop card game or something. Like, uh, my old buddies and I we used to play D&D, which was like so much fun.
Yeah, and I do. Yeah, Baldur's Gate would be a good option.
That would be freaking based. That's no, like I'm being like legit. Like, if we can move BP talking points past it and
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
quote to quote Aaron Clary, enjoy the decline and just have gaming sessions, all day. I I'm down for that, you know.
Yeah, sure. It's I'm not the biggest gamer. I love tabletop stuff, but if there are emulators where you can play I don't know uh Catan or something like that, I would be down, or D&D even would be
Yeah.
down, yeah. So you don't want to talk about BP stuff right now,
It's not that I
or
it's not that I don't want to. It's just like I think a lot of us,
it's
want
like
to.
you're yeah, it's talk to death, right?
It's yeah,
Um,
it's talked to death, and also like I feel like there's so much more that could be uh, talked about in depth. Like you know, me at least, I prefer looking at things from like an anthropological perspective, or
mm,
actually, I could write a paper about man as a social construct. You know, because that
mhm,
I do believe that does play more of a factor rather than I can't get a girlfriend. It's like okay, we've heard that same video like
yeah,
200,000 times. So it's like there's more to be said.
yeah, sure. And yeah, 2026 or 2025, it's yeah, a lot of things have shifted, and a buddy of mine, you would think he's on the top of uh, the social hierarchy, but he feels like shit. And I was like, hey man, a lot of people would change places with you, so why not be happy?
Psycho says, you're right about being put into place. That's the mindset Japanese people have adopted for nonconformists in society. They have a saying, the nail that sticks out must be hammered back in. Um,
Hmm.
I'd say it's funny because I feel like here, at least, we pretend to embrace individuality, but at the same time, it's like you have to be a conformist in regards to, you know, uh, American values, as an example. You have to be a conformist in regards to, you know, politics. There's a lot of things you got to be a conformist to if you want to, be a
Hmm.
part of American society at least. I don't know how it is in the UK or Europe. Um, I
Oh, in
know I know a
Europe,
lot of people are
it's
getting
the
arrested for
same.
protesting, but
Hmm. Yeah, I actually did find a niche because I can I can work a lot at home and be doing my own thing, but I wouldn't survive in a in a conformist indoor bureau space. I wouldn't make it. So yeah, at least in Germany, at least there are some avenues for that, and man, yeah, the USA are think it's quite something else. Or is it? Is it like, do you guys over exaggerate the America, the USA, Canada problem because you're not winning, or is it that bad
I,
economically and politically?
I mean, I think it's that bad. I think it'll get worse because we have a severe gap in terms of like the wealthy elite and the working poor. Um, you
Mm,
do have a lot of people that pretend not to see it, but at the same time, my generation, Gen Z, they at least do see it. But we're also having a lot of things pulled up from us. We recently just had the Obamacare subsidies gutted. The ACA. So
mm,
I mean, it's not. Yeah, I mean we had less than what you guys have, and the little that we did have,
yeah,
it's
maybe.
being cut. you know, so
I
I
know.
mean it's but at the same
I mean,
time,
yeah. Yeah, so sorry, at the same time.
At the same time, like we are like a very very wealthy nation, but it's like what where's that wealth going to, and who has the wealth, right? It's not me. It's like
Mm,
and I don't see myself having really any opportunity. It's like, I've listened to communists and like, third world countries say like, we're better off than people in Argentina, which, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, but we're going to be headed, to a very bad place. That might as well be, an economy like Argentina.
mm. Yeah, Europe, it is fucked. The German countries are well off, and with German countries, I do mean also Sweden, Norway, Finland, but France is economically dead. Also Italy, oh, how do you say, when you don't have a job, it's pretty as bad. Italy lives from tourism alone. The UK is a shithole. Oh, it's I do estimate we do have 15 good years to go by, but then it's also Germany is down, and it's a matter of time. You guys are the forerunners, 20 years.
Hmm. Psycho says, who even wants a girlfriend in 2026? Um, Most women have done lifetimes of experience riding the CC and doing all sorts of things. The ideal girlfriend that I want only exists in fiction, sadly. Yeah,
Mm.
there was a Japanese philosopher I was reading from where he married his anime girlfriend. Um, I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I think it was Hiroyuki, like Azuma, if that's his name. Um, but he basically talked about love capitalism, sort of in the same sense where you have to perform a lot of rituals in order to even participate in the dating market, and how certain men are just at a disadvantage. So
Mm.
it does seem like Japan, for instance, for all the praise that weeaboos give it, as some sort of paradise, like it's not from what I've
Mm.
observed. It's not. It
Yeah.
seems like it's suffering a lot of the same things that we are over here.
Mm. Yeah, Psycho, I don't wanna um but a relationship can be fantastic, and there are unicorns out there, and I did have, even as an average guy, I did have very good relationships, and yeah, it's I I don't want to say it's not worth because it's my main strategy to live, because I don't get that much out of friendships, and so, but yeah, Japan is crazy when you have to marry your waifu or your kid. Um, oh, sorry, my vocabulary. But yeah, it's brutal. I do think there is a satisfaction in a good relationship,
Well, how
and
for
it's out there.
those listening, how'd you meet your girl?
Tinder,
Tinder?
yes,
Okay.
she's 2 years older than me, and the red pill does kick a little bit in. I'm 31, and so uh, she yeah, she's uh she's not too bad looking, and yeah, let's see where this is going.
Okay.
I was most of my adult life I was in a relationship. Maybe Switzerland is the Shangri-La from Hell by the Dashboard.
Now, was this?
Yeah, yeah. It's a very special occasion because may I am a unicorn. I never did bad with women, but I'm always the lowest on the low of the low in many social settings. Even with two good friends of mine, they would stick together, and I'm the third wheel. So I'm socially atomized with men, but I do get some female attention.
So you talked to me last night about the dynamics between the countryside and the city
Mm.
life. So did you meet your current girlfriend um,
Oh,
in
she lives in the countryside.
the countryside? Okay.
Yeah, because I do I do experience the bitching from the city girls, from the brainwash tears down on the partners, and yeah, on the countryside there are some trad girls left.
Do you do you think the girls in Switzerland are um, susceptible to American ways of thinking?
Yes, as I said, maybe maybe 30% are all in. They're woke, they're bossy and stuff, and 20% are just conformists. They don't believe it for real. But I do think 40% are like, yeah, just um, women who didn't pursue higher education. They work as they work in retail and stuff, and they're open for all the bald alpha males, I guess, or the soft boys.
So what you're telling me is that Raymond should go to Switzerland and then he'll find his wife.
Yeah, mate. He should have built his house here, maybe. Who knows? But I do have friends who struggle a lot. Uh, um, for instance, he's 2 years older than me, 33, and he's five something, 5'7" maybe, and but he works at IT and he does make a lot of money. But I do think there's trauma. He did experience something really bad in his childhood, and so he's cooked. So yeah, and also a lot of other guys they struggle a lot.
What would be like the number one systemic problem you see with like men in Switzerland?
Um, Switzerland is a isolated place. The people they aren't very open. It's culturally pretty individualistic, and there aren't good social bonds. I as well do suffer from that because when you change school, then it's like, yeah, fuck you, or you will never see each other again. Um, I do feel like I have to make the first move every time for, hey, let's get together and have a good time. I do think Switzerland suffers a lot from social isolation. It's like a little Japan in that way. And on the countryside, there are some bars, and I did experience when you just can walk in and then the boomers are talking with you, they're interested in you. There are small sub hubs like that, but it's pretty isolated. Yeah.
So your boomers are not psychopaths, is what you're telling me.
Oh well, they are. They're also. It's like the American boomer you guys describe who watch TV. They're traditional, but not in a clever sense. It's yeah, the boomers here are pretty retarded, and they hold on good career jobs till they're 70. So it's mostly the same, our boomers.
Hmm.
But as I said in the beginning, it's like I do think it's fascinating because Indians are like the most friendly, the most funny, lighthearted people, and we do have some really aggressive fuckers yeah, who own the shisha bars and the gyms and stuff like that. And but Switzerland is pretty based. They're not getting good positions in work. They work their ass off in on the trades.
It is strange. Like, I don't. Some people call me a cuck about this, but like, I really don't understand like the hate, towards foreigners. You know, I
Mm,
see problems with systems, but I
mm.
I don't gear my hatred towards people.
Oh well, I do work professionally with people who need help, and oftentimes they're great people. They're glad for the help, but oftentimes they're also very parasitic. And one guy he got assistance from the government, like good money, 2.5 thousand euros every month. And he tells me about what did that Germany did for me? Nothing. It has nothing done for me. And it's like, well, man, see, if you're anywhere else, you wouldn't have, you don't have these opportunities and this assistance and help. So I'm a little bit maybe traumatized from from a lot of very parasitic foreigners, but I don't have something against foreigners per se. I'm not too Hyperborean or too Chad. Um, I do think some of the greatest people I've met are foreigners. But there is a momentum where um, when there are like first generation immigrants who are like very parasitic minded, then I also take issue.
Now, from your position as like a social worker, do you think your average black pilled incel should be given help from the government?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, absolutely. Because it it's like uh, not the wall cells, not the um, mind cells, but if they are like 5'5" and they do have something in their voice who doesn't match up, or some external um, deviances. Uh, if these requirements are fulfilled, they should get assistance. Yeah, and maybe also could be maybe also social loneliness. If um, if you can't meet up with anyone for 1 month other than your mother or family, maybe as well, yeah. But it's from a perspective of economy who runs well and the social state is intact. Because yeah, I also do sympathize a little bit with uh, Darwinian people who are like survival of the fittest. Um, I also I'm not going anywhere financially, and it's also due to taxes, and these taxes are funding these little ideas I just said, but mostly, yeah, um, parasitic people. Won't say foreigners because there's a lot of Swiss who are parasitic and Germans.
I do think, we could do more to help people, and, as far as, I just think, we have way too much wealth in our country, and it needs to be distributed. So I actually don't think the average American really has to pay. I do think, we have an elite society that doesn't care, that
Mm,
could, if they were forced to, pay,
mm,
but that's not going to happen anytime soon. So,
mm.
I mean,
They absolutely eat the rich.
yeah,
So yeah,
that's that's my politics.
yeah, that would be fair.
But at the
Are
same,
you
yeah,
are you big on socialism?
um, the Catholic model of, quote unquote socialism, which, it's, if you look at like Heinrich Pesch and, uh, Charles Coughlin, it's, distributism.
Yep, yep. Distributism is like everyone to their. Oh, my vocabulary is isn't up there for this for Marxists quotes. Sorry. Yeah, but I do get it. Get what you mean.
But Psycho says distribute the.
Everyone to their ability. Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
It's all good.
Psycho says distribute the wealth to excess men and the homeless. Yeah. Well, I mean, we shouldn't even have homeless, in our society. Like, they, I think everyone should be housed. We have the money to do so, but I mean, we're funding, a genocide. We fund, imperialism throughout the entire world. I was looking at, a list of like all the coups that we've done in South America. So it didn't just start in Venezuela. It's been going on for like a very long time. I know, Dennis brought up, the multiple bombings in Laos. So this, I mean, this is just a complete waste of money, but it's also a complete waste of life. It's disgusting, and it's why, like, it's again, to reiterate, my perspective, I do think, the curse that will eventually hit this country is divine intervention, and I do believe that
Mm,
hopefully, we will crash and burn, and that, yeah, I think, once this country this empire eventually collapses, I do think it will be a benefit for the world.
mm. Yeah, it's kind of a fantasy, the zombie apocalypse, and maybe that's the individualistic German in me. But yeah, something should happen, and I would don't have to wage slave anymore. And I do think it's more natural fighting for survival in that way. But I'm sure I wouldn't like the reality when it happens. But the idea sounds intriguing to yeah get the rice, get the water, and the ammo. So do do you think the answer could be a hut in the woods for excess males?
That's that's not going to be feasible. That's more of like a fantasy. Um, but my answer more is like community building. Um, and then, I know Salty Cracker and I were talking about it. Well, I haven't personally talked, to him just yet, but it's like, you a possible solution is like you buy like a large, um, school, or like an abandoned mall or something like that. And basically, what you do is you make that a community center for, desperate men, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like like okay, like let's say like um there's no rent, and this is just a place, for a class of guys that are loser men to
Mm-hmm.
live, right? We each have our own, private spaces and stuff like that, right? But we share the resources at the same time. So like we share the bills, we share food and stuff like that. We share other things that would be important. So uh, it's I don't. I mean, I'd like to say that that would be a possibility because I do believe in a good nature that people understand, struggle, and that I would like to believe that people in the goodness of their hearts would want to help one another, but at the same time you got a lot of black pilled people that just want to be in competition with one another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think Western Decline had this idea, right, with the prison just for the excess males, and the PC games are there, and the chicken tendies are there, and it would be a sustainable uh, art of living. It could work, and also to have experts, medical, psychological experts, and people who help each other, and there are, yeah, it would be great. I would definitely open up something like this. I thought about like just a community gathering, and for people who do feel um, ostracized because of various stuff, and especially for men, and but not with these manphobic views and guilt ridden therapy. Something honest, something who doesn't belittle men and their worries and also their needs would be great.
Well, that's why we just have to um, have some sense of solidarity. It's again, too many people, when they see the word class consciousness, they immediately pivot to thinking that it's some sort of bad word, or that it immediately must be tied to like Marxism, when that's just not true. Um,
Yes.
so if we were to able to make black pilled men or incel men or whatever, maybe we just need like a new identifier, as some sort of class. And we were to say like, okay, these are all the common traits that we have, and we need to band together and figure out a systemic solution for the problems that we're facing. I think that would,
Mm,
benefit all of us, right? Um, because
mm,
again, I think we're just being force fed, like especially from a lot of these annoying like alpha male types, individualistic solutions, to systemic
mm,
problems. Like you need to,
mm,
uh, work hard, and get like a degree, and you need to work on yourself and boost your image and looks max and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, no,
mm,
like I
mm,
ain't doing that. You know, that doesn't
mm,
benefit me materially, and it only marginally increases my chances of improving my life. You know.
mm. Yeah, and I do think it's a good time to come up with solutions like that, because once or one factor is the pendulum is swinging with political views, because I do feel like universities are more open to alternative ideas, and not just the canon of women and foreigners are ostracized and stuff. The pendulum is a little bit swinging back, and on the other hand, that this stuff is new enough that maybe if you can give a project to the city, maybe it gets funded. Like it's new enough that the not the demand. What's the other? What's the opposite of demand?
Are you trying to talk about like
Economics, yeah,
oh, supply?
supply.
You're talking about, yeah,
Supp-
supply.
yeah, yeah, demand supply. The supply isn't there, or social gatherings for for lonely men. I don't think it exists in America, right? Neither does it in Europe.
Right. Right. It's, you're right. We do have an overabundance of supply, and well,
No, not an abundance. We do have a lack of supply for programs like this. We
oh,
don't have any.
well, I was bouncing off that because like it's like well, in the future we're gonna have like way too many excess men, you know,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah, that's true. That's
it's
true. But
it's
that
it's like, what will be left for us, for us excess men. It's we can't all be winners, you know. We can't all be highly educated, six-figure income, beautiful wife having, winners. There's going to be a lot more of us on the losing side. And I think, it's just, you know, we're going to be the new surf class, but we're going to be treated much worse because we have new technologies like AI, like mass surveillance, drone technology. We're going to be essentially a new slave class. You know,
yeah, it is the reality for a lot of us, right? It's
uh,
true.
Psycho says, see, serfs in the medieval times lived better lives than us. Yeah, actually, because um, well, the king still had to answer to his servants. Um, and I'm not all too familiar with medieval history. I've only read like a few books. Um, but what I know about like medieval history and that type of customs and culture is like, it wasn't like, the king had like a whip and it was like what you know it's it was actually very different, and serfs, as bad as they had it, it it's not like how it is now where, you know, you have your Elon Musks, and you got your um who's that OpenAI guy? I can't remember his name. Um, that are trying to take all of your data. That are trying to identify, who you are as a
Mark
person.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, and
Mm,
they can track you at like every single day and every single moment. It's like anytime like I move my cursor on my computer, that's being tracked. You know, and I
mm,
can't literally do
mm.
anything about it. It's like everything is out of my control essentially. So um, but and then what else do you say? You say you're right. There are a lot of men in the BP that are akin to crabs in a bucket. That's that's a problem. So that's something we gotta work on. And I it's because there's a lot of negativity, and you got a lot of people that would rather drag other men down rather than
Mm.
posit solutions, or concepts or ideas to um, come up with solutions or answers
Yeah,
to these questions. Which it's much easier
yeah,
to
but
be
I
negative.
do think the reality is, as CD said it, that there are so many. He always begins with he hates his audience, and that for good reasons because most guys aren't. They expect everything and give nothing, and many BP guys are borderline retarded, and they're lazy, uh, malicious, and the list goes on, right?
Right, but what
And
does
then we do have to separate two classes of outcasts, right? Of those who are unfairly and those who are fairly in their place
right, but my
in
question to
society.
Dismal is what does he give? What good is he providing the world? If anything,
Yeah.
he's a negative drain on society with his
Mm.
perspective and his narcissism and his you know, his content, where it's like he makes videos where it's like he deliberately ruins women for other men. It's like, okay, so this guy, he admits it, but he's proud about it, you know?
You could argue that his content is valuable and is some contribution. Um, but yeah, I don't want to talk about the collective dismal. I get great entertainment out of him. But yeah, I do think his beliefs, the fruits are showing in his life, right? It's not the best place to be in, and with his marriage and job, that sucks, you know. But I do like him a lot, even though he's he's a little bit extra.
Yeah, I can't really explain how his fans are able to just, you know, buy into his personality and not really think about, you know, what exactly he's saying. I guess it might just be the charismatic, nature of his content, but it's like if you're selling me shit, it's like I still taste it and I don't like it, so it's
Yeah.
not, you could be as attractive or whatever, but if you're still selling me that crap, like I don't want it. So,
Mm. Yeah, I do think there's great pain in a lot of potential and not materializing it. And I do think we talked about conformity. He's so disagreeable to the point where it really hurts him. And yeah, but there's great suffering in such a brilliant mind. And then yeah, uh, nothing good comes out of it. It's but he's young enough, you know, maybe he will change. And it's yeah, it's in my job it's unpleasant, but it's a living. And pick your poison, right? It's you have to make choices, and maybe I didn't read the comments. Maybe for some, I'm a fag for this or that, but yeah, it's I'm better off than 3 years ago. So, and it had to do a lot with kneeling and a lot of conformity. So it's sad, but pick your poison.
mhm. No, it's I don't know. I don't see a very positive future for him in the future, but it's I mean,
Mm.
I mean, I don't, how should I put it? Black pilled men, it's like, we I don't want to, because we were talking about, Western decline. I feel like, there are some men, not all, but there are some men in this space that try to remove agency from what they do, or from their what how they ended up in their life. And in some circumstances, sure, but in, other things, regarding your life and how you ended up there, it's like, you do need to have some agency, you know?
Yeah, and you do have to get over it,
Yes.
especially
You have to
it's
sometimes get over it.
yeah, it's we don't have to get too much into it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The bad shit happens, and yeah, yeah. Hey, it was a great chat. I do have to get wage slaving more tomorrow.
Yep.
It's 11:30, right? No. Um, yeah, we should do this again. And you did send another guy who is pretty well spoken. Maybe we can have a chat
Yeah.
once more.
Yeah, no, I'd like to.
Do you
Was there anything you wanted to
do you
say?
upload it on YouTube?
Yeah, well, no, it'll be up once it's done processing. Um,
Okay.
so I think the streams don't take that long to process. Was there anything you wanted to say to anyone watching before I close out?
Um, thank you, Psychosis, for listening. And no, wish everybody have a good one.
Yeah,
And was nice talking to you, Western.
yeah, yeah. It was nice
No,
talking to you.
I do like you a lot, but I think you don't mind if something I am devil's advocate, or I do feel like I'm a little bit also BP interested.
Hmm.
But if you don't mind, we can do this again.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah. We'll definitely do that. All right.
Cool.
All right. Have a good night.
No, have a good one. Bye bye.
All right.